Hey, good day people. So today we're going to talk about a new game called Try Hard. So Try Hard is another upcoming play to earn game that will be released in the Polygon network. Now the token for this game actually just released a couple of days ago. So we can look at the price right now for the token. So it's already at 82 cents. Now if I remember correctly, the IDO for this one was around 4 cents. So you know, you already made like 20x, which is incredible gains. So if whoever managed to get into the IDO, congratulations, you have earned quite a bit. But I feel like the game has a lot more legs to go since this was just recently released. So I would assume the game would probably push a bit more in terms of market cap because it's really low at the moment, although the fully diluted market cap is a bit high. But if we're looking at potential of the game, I think this can go higher. So I think it's still a safe bet to say that, you know, this is something you can buy at the moment. But then again, that's not financial advice. This is just me, you know, randomly saying things. So don't just listen randomly to YouTubers, you know, do your own research. Try to assess if this is a good buy or not. At the end of the day, it's still your money. So anyway, so that's the price that we have currently available. So this can be bought in both BSC and Polygon network. So if you have money in BSC, then definitely you can buy this. But of course, if you want to play the game, it has to be the Polygon network. So it's going to be a top-down 3D shooter. So this is not the common tropes that we normally see in most play-to-earn games. It may be a bit similar to what Thetan Arena is, but of course, this is not a battle royale type of game. So we can't really compare that directly, but at least in terms of the top-down shooter type of mode, kind of falls into that aspect. They actually have a YouTube channel that you can view some of their previews for the game. There's not really much to look into yet, not much gameplay to actually see at the moment, so it's not something I'd go ape about, but you can view it on YouTube if you want to look at it. Now, they mentioned here about the Tryhard Metaverse. Basically, this is just covering what the game can give you. So play, win, and earn. So this is basically just playing the game and earning from the game. Then the fanatics would be the different units that you will be able to purchase in the game, different factions. Crystals are normally used for upgrading your items or upgrading your NFTs. Then lastly, gaining power. This is actually one of the more interesting parts. Again, as I've mentioned before in my previous videos, I like mining type of games. So they're actually putting in some type of mining here, similar to League of Legends, where they are also implementing mining. The concept is very similar to Mobox or Zoo Crypto World if you are familiar with those types of games. So that is the same idea here. We can go through that a bit more in the white paper. It's explained a bit more there. So factions, they have 4 at the moment. So they have the apes, robots, undead, and survivors. So these are just the different types of characters that you can actually purchase. And the loot boxes were actually on pre-sale in Babylon. So right now it's still actually available. Now if you're gonna look at the prices, so this is an article that they put out. So these are the prices for the pre-sale currently. Normal at $40, enhanced at $200, superior $1,600, and legendary for $4,000. So you'll see the key numbers that they've mentioned here is that normal, refined, and unique are going to be infinite, meaning that probably this is not going to be limited to just the pre-sale and public sale. Probably these are going to be on sale whenever available, right? Now for the elite, super, and legendary, now these are very limited items, and you can see that the price is a bit expensive. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm comfortable paying for something that much, but really up to you if you have the budget. Now they also mentioned here the drop rates. So you can see the base power here. So I'm assuming that the base power here would be the mining power or the universal power. So the higher the unit that you have is, you know, the more mining power that you get, which is better for you at the end of the day. So buying legendary has its perks, but of course it's not cheap to get. Now in terms of loot box drop rates, so these are the drop rates that you're gonna get. If you bought normal, there's almost 50% chance for you to get just a normal unit, but 32% to get refined. Then at least the good thing about it is that you have a chance to get for unique, elite, super, and legendary as well. Same goes for enhanced, but better specs. But superior has probably the better one because you have 75% chance to get a super and 25% chance to get a legendary. So I think price wise, I think super would be a good option because it guarantees you at least to get a 90 power and you know, gives you a chance to get to around at least to a maximum of 150 power. So legendary, definitely it's 100% guaranteed that you're gonna get a legendary. Now for the NFT, you'll be buying a weapon, then you'll be buying the NFT character, the unit itself. Now if you want to see the boxes, it's actually still on sale. So I'm not quite surprised why these didn't sell out, probably because the price is really expensive. They're not cheap at all. $4,000 is really heavy. I mean, even if I compare this to Chumpy Valley is charging you around $3,000 for the highest rarity unit as well. So I don't know, maybe that's why people are not comfortable trying to shell out so much money, but right now they're still available. You can actually buy these. As I mentioned earlier, in terms of pricing, I think the better one would be superior because you still have a chance to get a legendary, so that would save you a lot of money just trying to buy 100% legendary. So now let's look into refinery. So refinery is where you can upgrade crystals. You can see that there are different rarities of crystals from normal, refined, unique, elite, super, and legendary. Now of course it will differ depending on the character that you have and depending on the current level of the character that you have, but of course they didn't mention yet the breakdown on how to, how much exactly do you need. But right now what's clear is that in order to get a higher tier of a crystal rarity, then you need at least 3 crystals, and you use that to refine, and it turns into the next level rarity. So you have 3 normals, so you get a refined one, and you get 3 refined, you get a unique, and so on and so forth. So that's how you get it. But you can also decompose it if you don't need the higher tier. So let's say if you have refined, you can decompose it down to normal, which will give you 3 normal crystals. So the other important thing about refinery is that it allows you to level up your NFT. So they mentioned here that once you level up your fanatics and weapons, you can earn more staking power if you upgrade them using the crystals of the same level of quality. So I say maybe if your character is a unique character, then you need unique crystals, then so on and so forth, and that will allow you to level up the character. Now when they say staking power, this is what I'm referring to as the mining part of the game. So if you level up your character, then I guess you will be able to get better mining power for the games. Now for staking, they mentioned here your fanatics and weapons is where you draw your power from. So your total universe power determines your staking power. You receive a reward from the staking pool for every 100 power points your universe has. If you want to collect more rewards, show your skills at the arena and keep getting stronger. Again, later we'll talk about this a bit more because there's a better information displayed in the white paper. Then farming, this is just basically providing liquidity to earn crystals. So if you want to earn passively, then this is one way to do it. Skills, so there are different skills that are available in the game, so I'm not exactly sure if these skills are going to be limited to certain characters or these are all skills that can be acquired for any type of fanatic, but at least it's good to know. Marketplace, they're gonna have a marketplace once it's up, but right now it's not yet open. So right now they're already at Q4 2021, which they already completed the IDO launch. They already had the NFT drop, but the marketplace I don't think is still available. I didn't see any link on where you can buy secondary units at the moment. So these items are not yet available, I think. So right now we're gonna wait for these, and let's keep an eye out when these are gonna be rolled out. Probably by December because there's no other months left. Now for Q1 2022, so this is where the actual game will release. World map release, new game features, PvE, PvP. So this is the time where you can actually earn the game. But of course, you can also earn here once the staking is available. Then Q2 2022, so they're going to introduce bosses, expanding the metaverse, including governance, cross-chain functionality to BSC and Solana. So that's something to look forward to if in case you don't want to be in Polygon. But for now, I think the moment that they release the alpha game, it'll be in Polygon for the time being. Now for the tryhards team, so I would say these are not fully doxed people, mainly because they only put the first name in it and the pictures are, they're not real pictures. At the end of the day, still do your own research and see if you're comfortable investing in a game with the semi-doxed team, if you're comfortable with that. One thing I do like is that they have advisors here. So one of the key people that I'm a bit more familiar with would be Charlie Hu, who is the head of Polygon in China. Then they also have other notable people here. So this one, Dr. Diban, is from GD10 Ventures. I double checked that because his company is part of the strategic partnerships, which is here. So we can I actually visited that. Let me just open it up here. So we can see right here, so Tryhard is actually part of their portfolio, which is great. And the important thing here is that a lot of the good games here are actually also part of the portfolio of GD10 Ventures, which is CryoWar, Soul Chicks, Star Atlas, Chain Guardians, Block Monster, League of Ancients, Polka Fantasy. So a lot of these, some of these games already covered them. Even Chumpy Valley, they have it, so pretty good. So right now I'm a bit more comfortable knowing that they have partnerships that are legit. And of course CDFI, they already had their IDO, so if we open CDFI right now, they should be here and viewable. So take note, right, upcoming pools, like this is one of the more interesting games as well, because Age of Tanks has been mentioned many times by Alex Becker, so this is something I might be looking into as well. But the more important item here is that the completed pools is Tryhard, so you can see it here, all together with CryoWar. So it's good to see that, you know, it was really incubated by CDFI. So that means that the team should have at least did their KYC with CDFI just to make sure that they're legit. So I think that's good enough. And they also have other partnerships with other companies, several other companies as well. So at the end of the day, for me, this is a very good gauge to say that the company or the game here is as legit as they can get. So I'm a bit more comfortable if I were to invest into the game. So again, up to you to decide if this is something you're comfortable with. So now let's look into the white paper. So here in the white paper, one thing that wasn't mentioned with regards to opening chests for normal loot boxes, you actually have what they call as bad luck protection. So let's say if you open your chest and you got a normal unit, then you will get a bad luck protection of being given at least 100 crystals of random rarity. So it could be legendary if you get lucky, but then again, if you're not lucky enough, you might get a normal crystal, but at least at the end of the day, you still get extra crystals, which is great. So again, as I mentioned, this is going to be a top-down shooter. They will have a PvP, which is 1 versus 1. Then they will have PvE, which is a wave per wave type of game. And I know they're gonna have ranked games for 1v1, so they will have the ELO type of ranking that they plan to implement to the game. So again, this is just reiterating the crystals as I mentioned earlier for refinery. So if you have 3 normal, then you can refine it and turn it into a higher tier crystal. So now we go to the part where I'm most excited with, which is staking. Because staking pretty much is the mining part of the game. So the way they mentioned it here is that the moment you bought your NFT and you open it, then it's automatically staked. So you don't have to do anything on your end, so you don't have to worry about gas fees when you still need to stake or unstake the unit. You can also sell the unit while it's still staked, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So once it's sold, then it will go to the new owner and that'll auto stake itself to his account. So you don't need to worry about staking and unstaking when you're selling your NFTs. So now, as I mentioned earlier, the base universe power will be the one to determine how much mining power your unit will have. So we already saw that earlier in the previous tables, so which you can see here. So for normal, you're gonna get 6 to 10, refined 20 to 25, unique 30 to 40, elite 60 to 75, super 90 to 110, then legendary 125 to 150. But they also mentioned that you can level up your units, right? So I don't think that the base power would be limited to this one, but these are just the base numbers for a level 1 character. So if you level up to level 2 or higher, then most likely your base power will be higher than this one. So the reason why I say that this is similar to how Zoo Crypto World or Mobox works is because you also need to complete sets here in order to get bonuses for your staking power. So let's say, for example, you have factions, right? So for each faction, there are 5 different characters, I think, for each faction. So let's say for apes, you need to complete the full set of apes in order to get a bonus universal power. So that bonus universal power, as mentioned here, you'll get an additional 70. So for example, if the 5 apes that you have currently has around 100 universe power, then you'll get an additional 70, which will make it 170. So that's how the calculation for the universe power will be. So that's So now let's look at the distribution that's going to be given on a daily basis. So they already made a table here. So this is where they're looking at like the total base power for the entire game, for example, right? So for the entire game, everybody that has NFTs which are already staked automatically. So if we have a base power of 400,000 and below, then the total TRY tokens that they will only release for that set would be 1,500. Now, if it's 1 million base power, then they'll increase the distribution to 3,500 and so on and so forth. Now, at the end of the day, it will still depend. Like for example, for 400,000, you will still need to compute like how many mining power do you have within that 400,000. Then that's a percentage that you're gonna get for the 1,500. So for example, let's say I have, let's say 200 mining power, then you divide that for 400,000, then you'll get 0.005, then you multiply that 1,500, then that's pretty much what you're gonna get for the distribution. So that's why the more staking power that you have, the better it is for you to be able to get more TRY tokens per day. So don't quote me on this. This is what my understanding is. I could be wrong, but this is what this is what I think it's going to be. But we'll see once it's actually released. Now, they also mentioned about buyback mechanism. So 70% of all profits from the marketplace will be directed to buyback and burn pool. So using the token of USDC. So smart contracts will constantly check the average TRY price in the past 72 hours. Whenever the price falls below the 72-hour average, then the smart contract will trigger to swap funds in the pool for TRY tokens at a random time. So I guess this is going to be automatic, so this is pretty cool. Hopefully they manage this logic correctly so it doesn't really screw up the token at the end of the day. Now for tokenomics, we've been talking about the TRY token, so that's mainly the governance token that they have for the game, but they also have the HNR token. So the HNR token will be unlimited supply, and this is what you would normally earn when you're playing the game. So in order to earn HNR tokens, you can do battle, you can complete missions, you can fight epic monsters, and participate in voting. In order to burn these tokens, then you need to do upgrades in NFTs, composing crystals, early withdrawals, decompose crystals. So I guess there is actually a withdrawal fee from the sound of it, but I didn't see it in the white paper, or maybe I have missed it. But it seems like there's going to be I guess a withdrawal fee for a certain period of time that may decrease per day, for example. So that's one thing to consider. The TRY token is 200 million in terms of supply. So the one thing I was looking for is the vesting schedule. So looking at the schedule right now, I think it's good enough for me in terms of how they plan to vest the tokens. So I think this kind of approach is pretty decent because you're not allowing your investors to acquire all of the tokens that they purchase in one go. So for this case, they're actually doing daily vestings for some of these, which is pretty cool because on a daily basis they're getting tokens, but it's not something that people can pump and dump in one go, right? So that's something I'm really okay with. So again, at the end of the day, up to you if you're comfortable with this type of strategy. And that's about it, guys. So most of the items that they have here in the white paper are already covered in the actual website. So if you're interested, I suggest to pay a visit to the website, read through the documents, all of the information that's available in the websites and the white paper. Then I also recommend you also go into their Twitter and Discord channel, so you'll be able to see how the community is going. Sometimes it's important to have a good community for the game, even if before they launch, because strong community means that there will be strong support for the game. So meaning better traction and better performance for the game moving forward. So you need to always consider that before you try to invest into certain games. Alright, so with that, guys, thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you again in future videos. Stay safe, people.